Hey there, it is Tuesday. Bea is not going to be able to make a video today because she is away right now, so it's just me, and I apologize if this is posted a little bit early, but I have to take my mother to the hospital tomorrow morning. People keep going on and on about recovery, but why recover? I believe that this is a phenomenal question, and I think that it is an essential first step to decide if you want to recover and why. And I urge others who have recovered to reflect on the ways in which recovery has improved their lives and the reasons why they chose to recover. And for anybody struggling, I guess hopefully this video will give you some things to think about. However, instead of mostly giving my own personal reasons, I've decided to sort of come up with a more general exercise in order to get at why should someone recover from an eating disorder. And I actually did it myself. I wrote 3 lists. The first one is things I like or like to do. And I wrote them down. And the second list was things I want to do. I wrote them down. You might not be able to see them, but that's okay. And then the last one I wrote people I love and people who love me, and that includes friends, and just pretty much the important people in my life. Now, if you do this, if you look at the things that you like and that you like to do, if you have an eating disorder or you decide to keep your eating disorder, eventually you won't be able to do them, or you won't be able to enjoy them, and things off this list will slowly or rapidly disappear. If you don't have the strength, suppose you love to do a sport. If you don't have the strength to do a sport, then you can't do it. I wrote fall, the changing colors of the leaves where I live is one thing that I really like. If I am wrapped up in my eating disorder, and when I was wrapped up in my eating disorder, I couldn't enjoy the beauty of the season. In recovery, you know, I could make a list that goes on for pages of all the things that I like to do, but if you want to keep these things in your life that you live for and that you genuinely enjoy, then you're not going to be able to keep them if you keep your eating disorder. And I wrote the things, as I said, the things that I want to do. And if you look at this list, for instance, I have finished college, undergraduate, and going to grad school. If I'm ill and I'm weak and mentally I'm in a very bad place in my mind, I won't be able to do that. I'll only be able to have the strength and the mental focus and just the togetherness to do that and to have the profession that I dream of if I am in recovery or recovered. I'm not going to be able to do those things with an eating disorder. And another thing I wrote down, they can be tangible things or they can just kind of be states. And I wrote that I wanted to be happy, and I certainly know that with an eating disorder I will never be happy. And I think one of the huge things recovery does is it shows you how to love again, how to love life, how to love people. And with that segue, on to people I love and people who love me. You know, take a good look at this list, because if you keep your eating disorder, you're going to hurt every single one of these people, and you might lose many or all of these people who will be so hurt to see you, fall apart in front of their eyes. It might just be too much for them to bear. And even if they stay around, they will hurt. They will hurt a lot. And actually, now that I think about it, I think I need to add someone to this list. People who I love. And I wrote me. If I want to love myself, I can't do that with an eating disorder. An eating disorder is wreaking havoc on my body and my mind. And I don't think I used to love myself. I think I learned how to love myself in recovery, but it is a really amazing feeling, and it is something that helps me get through the days and the weeks and will help me get through the years. I love me now, and I can't do that, as I said, with an eating disorder. If you cannot think of things to write down, or you find that your lists are very sparse and don't have many items on them, in recovery you do learn to like, love, and think about the future again. And people come back. You're able to forge new relationships with new people when you learn to recover from your eating disorder, which is very inward focusing, and you learn to reach out and connect with the world around you. So if you are struggling and you've had a lot of trouble, thinking about the things that you live for, the things to recover for, I'd say that a reason to recover would be to get those things back, or to find things that make you tick, things that make you want to live your life. A lot of people that have struggled with an eating disorder have had a lot of misery, hurt, pain in their lives. A lot of people have suffered trauma, and they think that it is impossible to get through it, to get over it. But I think that a lot of this hurt and pain can be worked through. And I think that the only way, if you do suffer from an eating disorder, that you'll find joy and happiness again, or even for the first time in your life, is if you recover. It's not recovery itself that makes you happy. It's all the learning and all the working through everything that led you up to that eating disorder. It's learning about yourself and about your life and how you've been coping and how to start coping. It's really a huge learning process. I've learned more about who I am in recovery than at any other point in my life. Sometimes when you have an eating disorder, you forget that there are so many other aspects of yourself and your life. And you just may discover those. I want to say that you will discover those if you recover. But you certainly won't discover them if you don't. And the whole process of recovery, it may hurt, it may be difficult, it may bring up things that you don't particularly want to face. You might feel emotions that you've numbed with, your behaviors around food. But I want to say that recovery itself is sometimes a lot more difficult than sticking to an eating disorder at the very first, because the eating disorder is comfortable, recovery is new, threatening, and scary. But once you make it, once you start to feel better, once you start to regain your life and your happiness, it is worth the result, or at least that's been my experience, and I think that's also been the experience of a lot of other people who have talked about their recovery.